Upon opening Substance Painter 2, the first thing you will probably notice is that we've updated the UI. All of the tools and functionality are in the same place, so you won't be hunting around to find stuff. The idea is that the new UI streamlines readability with slider and tool icon updates. Let's take a quick look at the sliders. So here I'm in the Viewer Settings tab, and let's take a look at this Environment Map section. So here is the environment rotation. Notice that as I mouse over the sliders, they highlight with a color, and the parameter name itself is now placed within the slider to help streamline the overall interface. So here I can just adjust the slider, and also I can come over to this Set Value button and enter a value just as we've been able to do in previous versions of Painter. As I mentioned, we've also updated all of the button icons, and you'll see this throughout the entire UI. So for instance, here at the top, you can see that we have our tools, and again, all of the UI buttons have been updated just to enhance readability. Here you can also see a new set of icons here for the layer stack. We've also added a new full screen option. So here on my keyboard, I'm just going to hit the Tab key, and you can see that this toggles the UI into full screen mode. So now we have the viewport maximized for painting in full screen. To go back, I'll just hit the Tab key once more, and I get the UI. We've also added a new orthographic camera mode. So here, if I come over to this box icon here, you can see that we have the keyboard shortcuts F5 for perspective and F6 for orthographic, and you can also change these in the keyboard shortcuts. So here, let's just jump over to this orthographic view, and here's our orthographic view. So to jump back to perspective, I'm just going to choose the perspective option. So while we are on the topic of camera viewports, let's take a look at this new Display Settings tab. So here's our Display Settings, which was previously our Post Effects tab. So we've merged Post Effects with this new Display Settings. And with this, we've added some new camera controls. For example, we have our field of view, and so we can now change the field of view here within the viewport. We've also taken the focal distance and aperture settings here and grouped these parameters underneath the camera settings as well. In previous versions, these settings were utilized in the depth of field for the post effects. However, in Substance Painter 2, you have the option to use iRay for the viewport. Now, iRay comes with its own photorealistic depth of field rendering. And when using the iRay renderer, you can use iRay's depth of field, or you can override it with the post effect depth of field, which is powered by Yebus. Using either post effects depth of field or iRay depth of field, both are controlled using the focal distance and aperture. For example, I'm just using the real-time viewport, so here we'll just enable our depth of field, and here I can use my focus distance slider to set the distance and use the aperture to control the amount of blurring. Another viewport change is that the normal channel is now enabled by default. So here I'll come over to my texture set settings, and here under channels, we now again enable the normal channel. This allows you to modify the normal data through painting in the layer stack, as well as preview the baked normal data as it's set in the additional maps rollout. Now, we still use the height data as default because you get more flexibility in the blending of positive and negative values. However, there can be cases where the normal data provides a higher quality since we are using it directly in the viewport and not having to convert normal from height. So you can choose which method you want to work with, being normal or height or a combination of both. So this has just been a quick walkthrough of the more visible updates to Substance Painter 2. We also have greatly updated the shelf with new content. We've added 400 plus alphas and brushes, new materials, smart materials, and materials based on scanned data.